Oliver. This is a story. Oliver, the Great Western Engine, his owner didn't want him anymore, and he was going to be turned into scrap until someone came to the rescue. Go on. But one day, Edward was talking to Douglas. They had heard that steam engines were being put out of service across the island and replaced by new diesel engines. They're being turned into scrap, said Edward quietly. Don't imagine it. Identification that word, Douglas gasped it, makes my wheels wobble. I agree, replied Edward, but the Fat Controller says we will make sure they're always steam engines on this railway. I'm glad we work for the Fat Controller, smiled Douglas. That night, Douglas was still working. He had taken the middle night good strain through station at the faraway part of the island where only the diesels worked. He was just shunting ready for his return journey when he heard a faint hiss that sounds like a steam engine. He thought in surprise, the hiss came again. Who's there? Asked Douglas. I'm Oliver, whispered a voice. Are you one of the Fat Controller's engines? I am proud of it, I replied, Douglas. Thank you. Thank goodness, said the voice in the darkness. Douglas could just make out a little Western engine. This is my coach, and brake van towed, said the engine. We've run out of coal and have no more steam. But what are you doing here? Asked Douglas, scrapping from scrapyard, replied Oliver, jumping. Douglas shivered. I'll be glad to help you, he said. He said to make it look as though we're ready for a scrap, and I'm talking you away. The driver and fireman agreed to help to everyone. Worked fast. They took off Oliver side roads, wrote out transit labels saying that he belonged to the Fat Controller and chopped, scrapped all over him. Nay, time for me to return around Patty. Douglas, I would have to run backwards, Douglas, and Oliver stared out in their journey, but before they could leave the station, they were stopped. "Aha!" exclaimed the foreman, shining his torch at Oliver. "A Great Western engine." His light flickered further back with a Western coach and a brake van. "You can't take these, but they're all for us. See yourself," exclaimed Douglas's driver. Douglas's driver showed him the transit labels. Oliver and Douglas hardly dared to brave the foreman. Looked all over. "Oh, Oliver, seems in order. You can go, driver," he said. Phew, that was a near thing," puffed Douglas. "We've had worse, smiled Oliver. "We were nearly caught getting here and had to hide on an old quarry branch for these 3 days. I was very frightened." "I'm not surprised," replied Douglas, and he forgot ahead. It was daylight when their journey ended. "We're home," cried Douglas, as they reached a fat controller stairway. "I know just the place for you," and he showed them an empty siding, nicely hidden away. "Goodbye, and thank you," whispered Oliver. "I was happy to help," smiled Douglas, and he puffed away. Back of the shed, Douglas told the other engines all about Oliver. They were very excited and agreed that something must be done for him. "The Fat Controller will have to know," said James. "Douglas should tell him at once," added Gordon firmly. "Well, here I am," said a cheerful voice now. "What all is this about?" It was the Fat Controller, the engines were silent. "Beg your pardon, sir, but we do need another engine," said Duck quietly as last. "Yes, sir, a steam engine, sir," said Gordon. "We do indeed," replied the Fat Controller, "but I'm afraid that unless one is safe from scrap, there's a little hope." "But, sir," Rich Scout Douglas, "one had been who told you that?" Douglas asked the Fat Controller. The engines looked nervously at each other. "I saved him," muttered Douglas. "You saved the steam engine," explained Sir Topham Hatt. "I want to hear everything." So Douglas told him all about how he had rescued Oliver, Isabel, and Toad from the scrapyard when he had finished, the Fat Controller smiled. I'm proud of you, Douglas, he said to Oliver. Isabella and Toad are just what we need for Duck's branch line. Thank you, sir, replied Douglas, and all the engines cheered. Who's there? The Fat Controllers soon had Oliver, Isabella, and Toad mended and painted in full Great Western colors. They are very happy on Duck's branch line as all the west puffs along the coast. He often thinks about what a lucky escape he had if Douglas hadn't come to the rescue. Things will be very different. Oliver is very grateful to Douglas and everyone of the Fat Controllers really for his lovely new home. The end.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.